This video is brought to you by Draeger's Classics. Hi, I'm Jerry Draeger, Draeger's International Classic Sales in Seattle, Washington. We're here at Draeger's Clubhouse where I want to show you this 1957 Ford Thunderbird convertible. It's got a porthole hardtop on it. It's a 312, it's automatic, it's got power steering. Does not have power brakes on it, a manual and a manual windows. And it's a really straight car. We found a couple of bad spots in it. We'll show you in the video as you go along. I took it out and I drove it about 150 plus miles one day here last week, and I want to tell you, it was a great drive. This thing runs and drives good. A woman bought this car. She's a second owner on this car, and she kept a ring binder here. This is the original build sheet that shows Southgate Ford here in Seattle as the original dealer, and they sold it evidently. I don't know what the history is on it, but then she came in when she was 16 and bought this car. This is the invoice from Southgate Ford in 1963. She had this car all the way till last July when she sold it. She was 62 years old, so she had it a lot of years, and she kind of kept a little bit of a ring binder on it. I think this is actual mile car at 109,000 miles. But I don't know that for sure, but that's what I would think. Shows in here when it was painted way back in 1988, and the wire wheels, when she bought the wire wheels. Frank Stubbs did the service and safety check on this for us. Frank's Restorations, right here, he's a well-known Thunderbird restorer, and there's receipts in here from Frank on this car. So I got to tell you, it's a neat little car. It runs good, it drives good. I would drive it anywhere, and I think you'll enjoy it. Well, I have to tell you, that was a great drive all day today. I've been going I've been a good close to 200 miles on it, 2 ferry rides, and saw the 52 Ford pickup, and now I'm back here to Draeger's. Great day for driving a convertible. What a neat car to drive. This side is good and straight, looks real good, it looks nice. But you can find there's, like in the trunk lid right here, and also there's a scratch right there. There's a scratch right there too. So there's some spots, and there's a little bit of a dent right there. So there's a couple more scratches. Some of this stuff looks like it'll come off. Again, we haven't done anything but drive it. There's a little chip in the paint right there. So you got a couple of spots. And again, window cranks up just fine. And down. And the door closes just fine. So, all that is good. It just, there's another little spot. Again, with spots like this, you're not going to worry about it if somebody dings it. There's a little bit of chip right there in the paint. Mirror's got a little bit of crud on it there too. When Frank did the service and safety check, he adjusted the door. He says this shouldn't happen anymore, so he brush touched that, should go away. But he adjusted the door so that they work good. There's like rust bubbles, but they're real little. And we didn't go over the door, I guess. Checker. There's another chip in the paint right there. All this looks good. I mean, this new windshield in here. All this looks fine. These look okay. If I painted this, I'd replace them so they look good. All this looks good across here. I mean, everything looks good on it. But remember, it's just there's a couple spots right there. Remember, it's a driver quality car. Now the front. It looks good too. This front bumper is much better. I mean, you don't have to do anything with this front bumper. It's not perfect. It's got a couple of spots in it here and there. But really, the bumper looks good. I mean, this is typical of the paint job they did on here. I mean, They painted everywhere, everything. All this looks good across here. There's a spot right there on the hood. There's a little bit of a bad spot right there. There's another spot right there. And this grill here that looks decent across here. But again, here they got red paint everywhere. There's a bad looking spot down in here in the chrome where it's peeled off this piece here. So I mean, this is a driver quality car. That's just exactly what it is. We've not done anything to it, and we're not planning to. And if we do, we'll strip it and paint it, make it nice. So I would sell you this car the way it sets so you can enjoy it. Now you look at this car and it looks great, and that's what everybody's going to tell you. What a great looking car you have. I mean, I've been driving it all day today, and I've been getting high signs and everything else on this car. And I've had people taking pictures of it and everything. And it looks great. But if you get up really close inspection, you're going to see some flaws in the paint. But most people won't even notice it. They'll like what they see. Now, I look down the sides of this car, and I want to tell you, it's really nice and straight. It really looks good. But if you look on the top of these fenders have no bodywork's been done on this car on the top side here that I can tell, because it looks just like a stock Tbird. They have lumps and bumps in them from the factory. And also, we got a bad spot in here, and Frank at Frank's Restoration tells me this is lead bleeding through. So, and he's an expert on that, so I would take his word anytime. But everything looks really good on here. As you can see, it's really hard to film this. I mean, it just goes away, and sometimes you can't hardly see it, but it's there. I also been looking at this thing, and it's got a brand new windshield in it. So all that is good. All this looks real good along here. There's dust. I got it dirty probably today driving it. All this looks good. We got these flaps. It needs a visor. Would help this out a little bit here. The door's open good. I had the windows up and the heat on this morning, and I just left them up so it was a little quieter when I was driving down the road. But you can see the windows go up and down good, and they shut great. So everything's good here. Across the top of the deck lid here, where the top sits on here, of course you got marks from that, but there's also other marks in here, and again, Frank says a lot of this is lead marks. But on the trunk lid here, there's bad spots in it. You know, it was painted a long time ago, and they could have done a better paint job on it. But you know, you got the fender skirts on here. There's a little, somebody's done some touch-up right there. Hadn't even noticed that before. And anyway, you got the wire wheels on here. These are not original. These are aftermarket wire wheels, which are better than the original. You've got more spokes in these. Tires are good. They got a lot of rubber on them. There's a little bit of a bad spot, but it might rub out. Well, maybe not. Anyway, there's a little chip right there. Basically, it looks really good. Now, we haven't done anything. I haven't washed it, detailed it, or anything other than drive it. This bumper has got stuff on it, and I don't think I just thought maybe it might come out, but it's not going to come out. So this bumper, to make it really look good, you'd have to re-chrome it. Well, the back end of this thing looks good. It's got backup lights on it. I don't know if they work, but we'll find out here in just a little bit. And again, this chrome bumper, it's could stand to be replaced. But if you want to just have a driver, it's fine. Just like this emblem looks good. But it's got a little pitting in it. It could be fine. I mean, this all looks good, but if you get down really close, you can see some bad spots in it in places. So, you know, the paint is just fair on this thing. But you know what? It's great driver paint. You don't have to worry about somebody scratching it or anything else. Now, the trunk, I mean, I don't know if this has been repainted. This emblem looks fairly new. But this trunk, I mean, these are the wheel locks for the wheels. But this trunk is all, this original matte. And you can see this originally was a white car, and it's been painted red, and they painted everything. They just painted like crazy. So, but it, you know, it all looks good and solid. You can see everything looks decent and solid. Spare tire is decent. And we got the jack, and here's the original jack mounted right where it's supposed to be mounted and everything. So all that looks decent on here. As you can see, everything else, you know, I mean, all this chrome, it doesn't look bad, but it's got its bad spots on here. But for the most part, it's driver quality. This is the underside of the hardtop right here. As you can see, it all looks real good. This all material looks really good, and I can rotate this around so you can see the whole top. If you buy this car, you want to buy yourself one of these kind of stands. That's pretty neat for storing them. So anyway, that gives you a chance to see the top. To open up the hood, you just reach here where it says hood and pull, and the hood will pop. And of course, then all you have to do is lift up here to lift this hood up. And there's the 312 engine. It's got power steering. It has manual brakes. Brakes really work good on this thing, though, I gotta tell you. And these rocker covers look like they've been replaced or they've been off and cleaned, because this all looks real good. It looks like new heater hoses on there. And Frank replaced, I think, both upper and lower heater hoses. I know he did. I'm sure he did. Get charged for it. But you can see, like right here, they painted over everything. Yet we know we have a brand new regulator on there at some time because it's not red. So it's kind of amazing how these guys paint sometimes. Again, you want to remember this was a white car, so all this was they painted all this in here. And you can see the underside of the hood. It's looks like it had some crud on there and they painted over it. Of course, this car was undercoated, and that could be some undercoating there. This is from the battery at some time or another, and maybe that's why it's got a new regulator. Some people think that this is the VIN tag. This is the VIN number here, and this tells you the color and all that sort of stuff. And it looks like this has been off. It looks fresh, and there's no red on it, so maybe they took it off when they painted it and re-riveted it back on. But the VIN number is right down here on the frame, and we'll show you that. Okay. So this is the VIN number on the frame. Sometimes it can be further up this way, so you have to look for it. Now, you can see we haven't done anything. We haven't pressure washed. I'm sure if we took our pressure washer on here and did it, we could clean this up more. But we're selling this the way it sets. Again, we serviced it and safety checked it because I want to make sure it's good. We're also going to do a three-way alignment on it. And there you go. There's the old carburetor on there. It's been on there a long time. I'm not sure if that's an original carburetor or not. I'm not that up to date on it, but God, I got to tell you, it sure runs good, drives good. Now, can I put it back on? I'm close. Anyway, oh, look at there. It's got a new air cleaner in it. So, gotta get it back on the. There we go. There we go. Now we got it on for you. So, looks like a generator's been replaced recently too.
Pretty.
Isn't this a pretty car?
Gorgeous.
And you just drop this down, you get it down to about here. Oop, I didn't get it. I did it too soon. So, or not soon enough, I should say. I should have been a little higher with it. You can just drop them down. As you can hear, that 312 runs really nice. It just purrs. It just drives down the road just fine. Well, you can see this seat's all real good, except there's a little bit of a bad spot on that far side right there. And other than that, everything else looks good. It's got seat belts in it. This, of course, tips ahead, so you can see this back piece here, and this all looks good down in here. And this is, you can store stuff in here, and if it's soft top, if you had a soft top, this is where this would go, is right in here. So you can see that all looks good and solid. So everything looks good there. I mean, that looks a little bad over on that edge there, but I mean, again, we're selling you this as a driver quality. There was a receipt in the book that shows a new dash pad. That's one of the reasons this dash pad looks so nice. It looks really good. Steering wheels, it's decent shape. It's not all cracked and broken. It's got wear on it. Oh yeah. Gee, I hadn't tried this. Probably. That hasn't moved for a long time. You could untwist this and you can pull the wheel in and out, but it doesn't want to do it. And you can see machine metal on this dash here. Looks all good. This radio, the cassette works, but the radio does not do anything. So all that looks good. Shift here is right here. Everything looks decent on here. The door panels look good, you know, I mean, they're old. This is, you know, it's got some wear on it and everything, but overall, the door panel looks decent. You can see there's a little bit of a dings in here. As I told you before, they painted everything. I mean, you could put new rubber seal on there and that looked pretty good. You can see this is a little wrinkly right in there, and this all looks good. This piece looks better than the other side. I mean, it all looks decent. I wouldn't replace it or do anything. I just use this car and drive it. This spot cleaned right off. As you can see, the tack here works, and the gas gauge works. I wasn't sure about it. Andrew put gas in it, and then I was driving it, and the gauge was way over here past full, and I'm thinking, it doesn't work. So anyway, I put gas in. It took 3.9 gallons, so it was full. And I drove it over to Joe at Old School Garage, which was 50 miles, and it was still above full, and I'm thinking, boy, this thing doesn't work. But after I left Joe, it started going down, and you can see it's down just above a half tank. Temperature gauge, of course, works. The speedometer works. It's slow, and when you're doing 70, you're really doing 60 on here. And they put a quartz clock in here, so it's keeping time. That's just exactly what it is, 20 after 5 right now. Andrew wants to go home. Did we do the horn? Yes, there's the horn. And again, I don't know if this works or not. That's about all I ever get out of it was noise like that. But if we go over here to the glove box and get a cassette out, and you'll like this. This is my kind of music, old Glenn Miller stuff here. So I put that in there. It plays. Why the radio doesn't work, I don't know. And I tried AM, FM, and everything, and I couldn't get it to do anything. So that works. The heater, it works good. I've been using it this morning when I went out early this morning, and so I put it up there, and it works good on there. I don't even try the defrost, but I'm sure they work too. So the blower's blowing and everything. And the cigarette lighter has not popped out. It doesn't work, so it's hard to say whether it's a lighter or what. This light right here, except Andrew's got his door closed there, he put his foot on the deal. You can see this light works too when you open it and close the doors, either way. So all this works good. Now, the small birds have an interesting thing that happens. You go to start it, you turn the key and nothing happens. You got to put it in neutral, and then it'll start. Now you also have an air vent right here too that you can open up on the side to get air on both sides. So this is the right side, and it works just the same. Park lights, headlights. Oh, I can't get my big feet. There we go. High beam, low beam. Left turn signal. right turn signal, horn, wipers, they actually work pretty good. Tail lights, brake lights, left turn signal, right turn signal, reverse lights, no reverse lights. Andrew's shaking his head, so, but they're there, so they could be made to work, I'm sure. I've been out driving this car all day today. I'm probably close to 200 miles on it, and it just runs and drives great. Unbelievable how nice it is. And you know what? It's undercoated underneath here. I mean, there's, first we looked at it and thought it was grease and grime on there, but it's been undercoated way back. Anyway, I'm looking at this bumper right here, and it's, the bumper is just so-so. It doesn't look bad, but you can see on the underside it's the worst. And of course the exhaust does that from the original way they came in through the exhaust pipes here. I'm real impressed with how straight and solid this car is. I mean, all this looks good and solid. It's not all bent up. I don't see where it's been beat and banged over the time. Even like the gas tank here. I'm sure this is original gas tank because it's undercoated too. And everything looks great. This all looks good, this the spare tire carrier, but it's got a lot of undercoat on it. I got to tell you, there's grease buildup over the ears. I don't know if there's any undercoat on there, and usually they don't undercoat the rear end, but so it's got a lot of buildup on it. But you know what? It's not dripping a whole lot. It's not wet underneath here or anything else. And again, it's solid in here. The old exhaust system in here, and there's a piece that he put in. The guy we bought this from, he put new mufflers on it himself. He didn't take it in, he did it himself, and so that's how he fixed a bad spot right there. Now there's a bad spot right here, we'll show you in a close-up, but that's the only bad spot we've found in this car. All the rest of this, the drain vents look good on both sides. On the other side over here, they look good all along there. All the frame is good and solid. And of course, this has got that good old Y frame in here, or the X frame, I should say, in here. And here's the two new mufflers he put in. So all this is good and solid. But I mean, underneath here, everywhere I look, everything is good. I don't see any bad spots other than that one spot. Now, this is the only rust we found in this car right here. Maybe there's some somewhere else, but this is all we found, is this little spot right here. Well, you can see it's just undercoated under here really heavily, but it's all in good shape, even on the frame here and everything. It's got a lot of undercoating. Okay. This is the bottom of the automatic transmission here, and you can see it's a little bit oily and everything, but it's, you know, it's not, I don't find big drips on here. I mean, I can see it's wet right here. This is the bottom of that 312 engine. You can see there's a brand new oil filter on there that Frank installed when he did the service and safety check. Looks like there's a brand new piece here on the end of the power steering pump. It's got power steering, and it drives very well. I mean, like I say, I drove it about 200 miles today, and I had a great time. People waving at me and everything. This is really what an unrestored car looks like on the underside on almost all of them. You know, anytime they've been restored, of course, they look beautiful. And this one's been a driver for years, and it shows it. Nobody's ever cleaned underneath here, and you could restore it, but you know what? Just drive it and enjoy this car. It'll give you a lot of years of good service. Everything looks fine. I don't see anything bad in here anywhere. It's just grody looking. Now this is just showing you how much undercoat's on here. It just coated. I mean, it's coated back here. It's coated here. They just coated the whole thing. Now I can see where they pulled bondo down over the side. Does that mean there's rust in here? Probably, but we don't know. We'll check with the bondo checker. This side, you know, it looks really good. I don't see any bondo in there. And you can see right here, they put this like rhino liner, I don't know what it's not rhino liner I don't think, but they put it all the way around on the car. Okay, let's check the bondo checker on here. So that's all good, but I already know that there's a bad spot right here. See, well, that was me, I rocked it. Oh, I guess not. So that's an that's the 16th of an inch. Let's see, if I rock it, well, see, it's a little deeper in there. That's a 1/4 inch is what that says. And 16th. Now that's good. So we knew that was a bad spot in there from the underside. And there's also a bad spot right here. Okay, and you can see, look at there, 3/16, 1/4 inch right there. And this is a bad spot. The only rust we found was on that underside. See, and it's all good from there on. In reality, there's not much in this car. So if a guy ever wanted to strip it to bare metal and paint it, he'd really make a good car out of this. You can see everything looks good. Well, there's a spot. Not much of one. Oh, there we go. A little bad spot right there. But it's not a whole lot. And these people think they're going to find a rust-free car. You can find them occasionally, but most of them have been reworked nowadays. Every now and then you'll find something really good. As you can see, that looks good. Well, we'll check this side out and see how it is. I think this side is really good. I think there's a spot underneath the door up here. You can see we're doing, whoops, that was me. Yeah, that all looks good. That could have been me. Well, there's a little spot right there. The door is good. There's just a couple little spots on this side. Looks like. I think there's one. Oops, that's me. Oh, that was me again. I think there's a spot coming up right in here. See, there's a little spot right there. 16th of an inch. Not a very big spot though. Now there's a spot down here. See, there's a little bit of bondo in there. That's 1/8 of an inch. Back to a 16th of an inch. And we're good. So there's just one spot in there. And this right in here, see, there's a bad spot right there. And that's right where Andrew, you can see that spot. And this is all good. I expect this to be all good because there's so little in this thing, even though we do have a little bit. If I could be a little smoother, it would be better. That was me rocking it. Hey, that's all good. That there was just me rocking. Well, we'll give you a chance to see how this Thunderbird runs down the road. I mean, I want to tell you, I like the way it runs and drives. So this will give you a chance to see it firsthand. Well, we're going out I-5 now. Hopefully the traffic is decent. We can do a good job showing you this Thunderbird going down the road. It accelerates quite well. drove this thing about 200 miles one day. It was just great. I'd drive this rig anywhere. You can see the speedometer, we're doing 60 right there. The speedometer is over 70. So the speedometer is about 10 miles an hour fast is what I know. Now I'll show you this again. So it runs quite well. Now you get a chance to see the passenger side of this Thunderbird. And I want to tell you, it runs nice. Hope this gives you some idea how well this Thunderbird runs and drives. I want that blue sky down there. Oh well, I'm from the Northwest and we're used to rain. Well, we're back to Drager's Clubhouse and I hope you enjoyed this drive, even though it was a little wet and rainy at the time. It's just the way it is sometimes. Anyway, if you're all interested in this car, give us a call, 206-533-9600.
I'm Andrew Drager, and if you have any questions about this vehicle, please don't hesitate to call or email us.
I'm Jerry Drager, and we're a father-son team, and we hope you enjoyed the video and understand that we really try really hard to go over the vehicle with this video to show you everything. Doesn't mean that I get every single spot or anything else, but I try, and Andrew and I both work really hard to make sure the vehicles are in top shape before they leave here. You got any questions, always give us a call or email us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you. We really invite you to come see them. And if you can't, you should have them inspected. I think it's really important to make sure you understand what you're buying.